Coming to you live from the Elliott Avenue Studios, this is The Barbershop. Brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail, the official auto detail provider of the Seattle Seahawks. And by the Trufant Family Foundation, an organization aimed at improving the community one kid at a time. With Marcus Trufant, here's T-Holla.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's T-Holla back here in the barbershop once again.
And yes, it's Marcus Trufant. What up?
And we want to say thank you for joining us for yet another episode. We are back at it here in the iHeartRadio studios. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about tonight, Tru. It was a hell of a weekend. Lots of stuff has happened over the past 7 days. Tonight, we're going to talk about David Ortis, Big Papi.
Man.
Yeah, he had some events take place down in the Dominican Republic this past week. We're going to definitely talk about that. Right now, this minute, when we are recording this show, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is going on. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. Of course, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what happened tonight. So by the time everything is done, every time the show is over, we wake up tomorrow morning, everything we might have talked about might be all thrown out the window.
I'm going to check in for us, T. I'm going to check in.
You going to keep us up to date?
Maybe. I ain't going to let us fall like that. The score currently 62-56. Golden State is up by a couple. It's halftime.
I kind of didn't want to know. I kind of wanted to be surprised, man, because some of the stuff we're going to talk about, you know, I want to talk about Game 4.
Okay.
And then, you know, now it's going to be spoiled a little bit. But no, it's cool. Keep us up to date, man. I now that you piqued my interest, I do want to know about it.
Yeah, man, it's just halftime. T. Whole nother half. A lot of ball left.
And tonight we're going to talk about winners and pretenders. It's, you know, something we do in here from time to time in the barbershop. We talk about something that's winning or pretending, a person, a situation, a place, a thing. We're going to talk about whether that thing is a winner or a pretender. Lots of things to discuss about that. True. This past weekend, though, man, you and I had a very eventful weekend.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going
on. We got a chance to do the Seahawkers Booster Club banquet. And I think it was my second time doing it. You've done it, what, 3 times already now?
Yeah, something like that, 3 or 4 times. You know, I got a lot of love for the Seahawkers, man.
Yeah, they are a real strong group, man. And shoot, this year their theme was for whatever reason they decided to have a theme this year, man. And it was Star Wars. Your favorite subject.
My favorite. I said some of the worst words, I guess you could say, at a Star Wars convention. I said I'm a Star Trek guy.
You did.
I guess that like Bloods and Crips, huh?
It really almost is, though, man. They really get serious about it when it comes to their. I'm kind of a Star Wars. I like to sometimes say I'm a Star Wars nerd. It depends on who I'm around.
Right.
Because if you get around the real Star Wars nerds, they're gonna shame you and be like, "Oh, you don't even know who Jar Jar Binks is." You know, some bullshit like
who?
that. Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get with you. So, but it was a good event. A lot of the thing about the Seahawkers Booster Club, man, I will say, is that it's not just a booster club. They don't just come together to cheer at football games and support the players and things like that. They do a lot of good stuff in the community, man. So we got an opportunity to see what they're able to do, the amount of money they're able to raise, and the good things that they're able to do in the community, man.
Right, and they brought out awesome keynote speaker in the great Hall of Fame. Kenny Easley came out and gave a great sermon.
Oh, yes.
Gave a great sermon, and it was just good to be around him, man. I've had the pleasure of speaking with him a couple of times, but just his energy and his intensity is great, man. Of course, he's a family man, and he loves his Seahawks, and he loves the 12s. He talked about his time away, of course, from the Seahawks and football itself, but he came back home because of the fans, man. It was a good look.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenny Easley is, you know, and I said this at the event, I mean, the energy that he brings, the essence that he brings to the room, it's like bar none when you're talking about professional athletes. He's right up there with some of the best. Like, he almost leaves you speechless as a fan, as someone who watched him as a kid growing up out there laying the wood. You know what I'm saying? And a guy that was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All-Pro, a member of the All-Decade team for the 80s. I mean, it was just a great event, a good opportunity to be around him. And, you know, when they were telling us we had to introduce him, I kind of got nervous a little bit. They like, you guys got to stand up there and you have to interview Kenny Easley. I was like, how the hell?
I was shook, too.
How the hell?
On the low. I didn't show it, though, but I was shook. Yeah.
How the hell do you sit up there and interview a Hall of Famer like that? Fortunately for us, all we had to do was just get up there and say, "On your mark, set."
Yeah,
And Kenny went,
and
man.
he took it.
He went, ran with it. So, shout out to the Seahawkers. Shout out to Kenny Easley. We appreciate it. It was an eventful weekend. We had a lot of fun. True. One thing I did want to talk to you before we jump into the meat of this show, man, is something that has been taking place on social media. First of all, there's been a phenomenon that has taken place over the last couple of years, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. It has to do with race. It has to do with racial profiling. It has to do with racism. And it's a lot of these people are getting caught on video, on cell phone camera, calling the authorities on whether it be black men, black kids, black people, and they come up with nicknames like the lady who called the police on the black people who were barbecuing in the park in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Barbecue, what's her name?
Becky
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she called them, said they didn't, they weren't allowed to barbecue in the park. Then there was a lady who called the police on the young girl who was selling water on the sidewalk on a hot day.
Ain't had no permit.
She didn't have a permit. Patty. So we've seen dozens and dozens of episodes just like this, and most recently, there's been one where a young black man who worked at a hotel. Obviously, there was some kind of incident over the phone with a potential client, a potential resident of this hotel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I may know, but go on, T.
Yeah. So the lady was on the phone and she had some kind of issue with her reservation or whatever, and she called this young man out his name. She called him the N-word and cussed at him. And then, for whatever reason, she was bold enough to come to the hotel like she was going to check in. And the young brother was not having any of it. So I just wanted to play you a little clip if you haven't heard it before. It's really gone viral how this young man really took control of the situation and flipped the script on the young lady. I will warn you guys, there are some colorful words in here. So listener discretion advised.
I'm sorry. You weren't sorry when you said it on the phone.
Listen, there was people screaming
but
at home.
at the end of the day, in the climate that we live in today's society,
I was sorry.
I understand that, but it's above me now.
I need a room tonight.
Well, there's the Best Western next door.
No, please, let me hear. My daughter's here.
I'm sorry, but I was on the phone when you said it.
I said I'm sorry. Please, I've had a horrible day
and I
today.
had a horrible time when hearing that.
He won't let me in.
It's above me. She called me a fucking nigger.
Sir, my grandma just died.
I understand that, but it's above me.
Please let me.
It's above me. Sorry.
I got my
the
credit
Best
card.
Western is next door.
It's above me.
It's above me, bro. That was classic. It has taken over the internet. It's above me, but I think he just handled it with so much class. It's above me. It's turned into a thing. So, first of all, before we move forward, what is your interpretation of that situation?
I mean, he stayed cool, man. I like it how he stayed cool, didn't get to yelling and screaming and all types of other foolishness to where the authorities could have been called on him. And then you know how that story could go. And the police show up and they go after him, and then it's a whole nother story. So I like how he stayed cool, calm, and collective and let her suffer. And she had to pay for what she did because there's the Best Western next door.
He did tell her, you got to go next door. You can go anywhere but here, man.
It's above me.
And that's what I want to talk to you about. He was so calm and cool and collected. And the fact that this lady had the audacity after she cussed this boy out and called him all out of his name to show up anyways, like it was just going to be all good.
She just didn't think he had no pull and probably didn't think he was going to be there.
No. And at the end of the day, it was above him because he reported it. And I laid that story out there for you guys just because in the spirit of the barbershop, we always hit you with the debut remixes. We always do. From the time we came and hit you with the Catch Me Outside, we were the first to let Seattle and the world hear Catch Me Outside. How about that? On live radio.
Mm-hmm.
We were the first in Seattle on live radio to play Shannon Sharp's Miles and them Yak. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Miles
sir.
and them Yaks. We debuted at Christmas time 3 or 4 years ago. You got the green bean, potatoes, tomatoes. We were the first.
Yeah.
Yes, we were the first. And we will now be the first to give you the remix of It's Above Me Now. Ladies and gentlemen of the Barbershop, it's the debut of It's Above Me Now.
Oh, please, let me
It's
hear
above
my
me now.
daughter's here.
I'm sorry, but I was on the phone when you said it.
I said I'm sorry. Please, I've been in a...
It's above me now.
I said I'm sorry.
It's above me now.
Please, I've been in
I was on the phone when you said
You won't
it.
let me in.
I was on the phone when you said it.
Please, I've been in
It's above me now. Above me now. Above me
Hey.
now. Above me now. It's above me now.
Hey.
Above me now. Above me now. Above me now. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. It's above me now. Above me now.
Hey.
Above me now. Above me now. It's above me now. Above me now. Above me now. Above me now. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it.
I said I'm
I
sorry.
was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it.
There it
Hey,
is.
that thing was going for real though.
Did you hear it slap it?
That was all right.
But see, again, to end this little segment of the show, that's what I love, man, about, we have the ability to take
Technology
some of
is
the
crazy.
first of all, man, if we could take some of this ingenuity and creativity and put it into something that's, money making or something positive, man, there's no stopping us.
Yeah, it ain't no stopping us, man. But that thing was going though, And you think it was some black folks that did it, T?
I know it was. Who else would do something like that? That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say to y'all out there. We have notoriously, black people, African Americans, have taken the worst, most grimiest, most dirtiest things that have been given to us, laid upon us, bestowed upon us, and turned it into something of our own and made it good. The whole concept of soul food was the idea that slave masters would take, I didn't really get all deep with y'all tonight, man, but I'm
ahead,
going
T.
there with you, man.
Talk about it. Spread the good news, brother.
Yeah, slave masters used to take the they take all the good parts off the pig, the ham, the bacon, the pork chops, all that good stuff, and throw the slop to their slaves. And so black people would take the leftover meat that nobody wanted, the pig's feet, the pig's ears, and the intestines, and all that.
Them chitlins.
And chitlins, and the collard greens, the leaves off the ground that people would just throw away and turn it into what people now consider delicacies. But not to get off topic, but that's what it is, man. We took something ugly, like this ugly situation, and turned it into something you can put in your car and jam. And there we go.
Hey, baby, you got to smile through it, man. That's all we doing. So
That's all we do.
I love it. But I might need you to burn that for me on the CD, T.
I might get
I
you
need
the
that on the
CD.
way.
You want the CD version?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Something that has happened over the past couple of days is, kind of, it's not necessarily a tragedy at this point, but it is an unfortunate situation. Everybody knows David Ortis, a.k.a. Big Papi. A man who spent 20 years playing baseball, Major League Baseball, primarily for the Boston Red Sox, where he won 3 World Series. He currently holds the franchise records for home runs for that franchise. He's widely considered the guy who brought back respect to Boston when it comes to baseball, man. You think you got that leads you to 3 World Series and knocking balls out of the park, and he just had so much charisma and personality. And he recently retired and had his number hung up, and nobody will ever wear his jersey ever again in Boston. But he went to his home where he's from, the Dominican Republic, and apparently was hanging out at a bar, nightclub, and a gunman pulled up on a motorcycle and took a shot at Big Papi. Bullet went through his back, out his abdomen, and actually struck one of his associates that was there with him. And he's now in stable condition, but it's touch and go. When you get shot, or when you're involved in a shooting, people don't shoot people just to try to. I'm trying to injure you, man. You could die at any time. So it's touch and go, man. He's stable now. The Boston Red Sox sent a plane to go down to the Dominican Republic and pick him up. But there's so many questions I have, Tru. First and foremost, I want to get your opinion on the situation. What you think about David Ortiz, Big Papi, getting shot down in DR?
Well, I guess how I looked at it, and after I figured out that he was okay and that he was in stable condition and all that kind of stuff, it made me think about something that a lot of fans say a lot about players and certain type of players that don't like to deal with the fans and don't want to sign autographs and don't, of course, want to kiss babies and take a bunch of pictures. You never really know who's out there and what people's intentions are, especially when you're in a club and people think that they can just approach you and they can come up to you just because you're so-called, a role model or a superstar. It just makes you think about it. You got to protect yourself first. You got to protect your family. So I think that fans need to be a little bit more lenient at times and just a little bit more respectful and a little bit more open-minded. If a guy doesn't want to do those sort of things, he shouldn't be labeled as the bad guy. Maybe he's paranoid, or maybe he's just fearful for him and his family. Mm-hmm. Everybody's different. Everybody's not the same. So that's what I thought of first. And second, it's just crazy out here, man. Yeah. You never know what people are thinking. You never know what the next person is thinking in the same room, in a club, a public setting. And you don't even have to be, a guy as famous as David Ortiz. It could be, it could be anybody. And people, it's just silly. People stupid. People on drugs. People do crazy things, man. It's just, it's getting out of control.
I never even really, thought that far into it. When you started talking about the overzealous fans and crazy fans and coming up and asking for autographs and pictures and things of that nature, kiss my baby, hug my wife, all that crazy stuff, right? You never really think about the fact that maybe that player may be paranoid. Maybe he has thought about these scenarios.
Especially when you see stuff like this, man. Yeah.
Yes. Now, I understand that this obviously was not a fan that came up to David Ortiz down in the Dominican Republic. But, as a player or as a celebrity or somebody in the limelight, you never know what people's intentions are at any given time. I know for a while there was some speculation that this was a robbery attempt, that maybe someone was trying to, Dominican Republic is probably a poverty-ridden island. There's not a lot of financial resources down there, and they saw him as, a mark, a target.
Meal ticket.
That's my bag right there. But I saw the surveillance tape. I saw the videotape. It didn't appear to me that this was a robbery, man. It looked like it looked like a hit. It looked like somebody rode by, picked him out, and popped him in the back.
Right.
And I know you sent me a link earlier, and I don't know how much truth to this it is. But
I got that off of 50 Cent's Instagram, so I don't know how much weight.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But still, 50 Cent, just because we're in the barbershop, we put it all out there. What did 50 Cent say? He said that it was a hit.
Yeah.
That Big Papi was playing Big Papi with somebody else's Big Mommy.
Allegedly.
Now, we don't know that to be true,
right.
But if you see the video surveillance true, it looked like somebody just rolled up and popped him, man, and it didn't look random. It didn't look like they were trying to get money or jewelry or anything like that. So
right.
I don't know what happened. I'm sure we will all find out what happened as the time progresses. But I got to tell you, there was a long time in my life, man. Well, before I even get there, I want to ask you this question. So going back to this whole idea of being a celebrity and having people come up to you and being in the element. Of course, we know Big Papi is from the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. And we already know kind of what the element is down there. It's kind of an impoverished nation. What do you think about people, celebrities, people who have made it, quote unquote, made it, going back to the hood, going back to where they're from, where maybe there are still people that are hungry. There are wolves out there, right? Mm-hmm. You know it, and it doesn't have to be in the Dominican Republic. It can be in Los Angeles, Compton, Chicago, Tacoma. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there are people who are out there that are still hungry and wolves and see you as a meal ticket. What do you say when people say, look, man, I know you want to give back. I know you want to be back in the hood with the people, but sometimes you can't go back.
Right.
That's what they say.
I think it's okay, T. I think it's all fine and dandy to go back. I think it's great, as a matter of fact, if you go back to your hometown, if you go back to your home country and do your thing and give back and be, be someone that the kids can look up to and do things and create opportunity. I think that's great. But at the same time, I don't think it's an obligation. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it, and if you don't want to and you have your reasons, if you're fearful of those type of things, of going back and you potentially being a target, I think that's okay too. Everybody's different. Everybody's in a different situation, and if you want to, it's ways to make arrangements. You could roll with the bodyguard team, or you could do this, and you could only do certain things in your hometown. But every city, every place is different. So I think guys who go back to their hometowns, I think they got a pretty good idea of what they can and what they can't do. So
a lot of times they do, but you know what, Tru? I think especially, even more so lately, you see where these guys are putting themselves out there. And these are genuinely genuinely good guys, man.
Right.
They want to be in the element that they came from, around the people that they came from. And it doesn't have to be athletes. We look more recently, Nipsey Hussle, who was doing great things in his community. He's giving opportunities to people who before would have had zero opportunities.
Right.
And he just wanted to be in the element and with his people and building something special. And somebody pieced him in.
It's always somebody.
Yeah.
It's always somebody. And you just pray and you hope that you don't fall victim to that person that's having a bad day, or to that person that's having a bad week, or to that person that feels left out, or just somebody that's on the outside looking in and trying to make a name for herself, et cetera, et cetera. So all you can do is be accountable for you and your circle, and what you're doing, and you just try to take care of business that way. But you never really know, T, and that's the scary thing.
That's true, and it doesn't even have to be necessarily in the hood where you came from.
Right.
Make it, it's troubling times, man. And
it could be out of school, man.
Yeah.
It could be out of school, man. These kids are shooting up schools, all types of foolishness, man. So
yeah. One thing I will say, again, before we get off this topic, though, actually I have a couple things before we get off this topic, is I know I used to look at pictures of the Dominican Republic and I'd see the crystal blue waters and the white sandy beaches and just beautiful people and beautiful, just everything. I don't think I want to go anymore, man. I don't want to go to they killing people down there. I don't know if you heard, but like in the last couple of weeks, people been turning up dead.
A bit of tourists.
Yes.
What did I hear it was? Was it pesticides?
Was that what it was?
Supposedly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know people disappearing. I think it was a couple couples that was disappearing at a resort or something like that. I don't know. I need to look into it a little bit more. But yeah.
Oh, hell no.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
It's crazy out here, cuz.
Until they start figuring some shit out, man. I don't know, man. Like for instance, and then so the alleged shooter, Big Papi.
Right.
Have you seen that yet? Have you seen his photograph?
I seen it. It was a red dude, right?
No, he was red, all right. They beat the dog mess out of him, bro.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So at least you know that Big Papi is, you got to think about, he's probably, he's the icon of that island nation. He's probably the biggest thing that ever came from the Dominican Republic, and the people down there love him. The people down there love and respect him, and when they caught the alleged shooter, they beat his ass and
beat
he
the
was
brakes off him.
unrecognizable. So at least you know that the people love him, and I know they're gonna get to the bottom of this, man. And at the end of the day, we want to send a message out to Big Papi, man. We hope you get well soon. Take care of yourself, man. And
prayers up.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Stay away from people wives, man.
Allegedly.
Oh, hell no.
Oh man, the game is going on right now, Tru, as we speak.
I ain't even going to tell you the score. I'm going to check it real quick.
Game 5 of the NBA Finals, the Raptors and the Golden State Warriors. As we can't talk about, obviously, the outcome because we don't know.
Nah.
But I know that KD, who has been missing since the last series with the alleged calf injury, which is an Achilles. I believe it's an Achilles injury that he has, Tru, and they playing it off. They don't want to tell everybody. Achilles, as the True Fun calls it. Yeah. But he came back, man, and he looked good. You know, before the games. Before the half, and before we have finished recording this show, he's out.
Yeah,
he's out. He's out again. So we'll check back and see what the score is, and hopefully Hopefully Golden State is still playing and they didn't send them packing. But I want to look back to Game 4 because that's where we are right now,
Right.
As far as what we know. It just didn't look good. Golden State did not look good. They got Klay Thompson back from his injury. He was shooting good from the three-point line, but he just still didn't look 100%. Curry was out of sorts. He scored 27, but they were just making him shoot some crazy shots, man. And so they were struggling offensively, from my interpretation. And believe it or not, I actually sat down and watched some of this
What?
basketball. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
What?
So what do you think, man? I mean, prior to Game 5, it's a 3-1 lead for the Raptors. What do you think about this series? What do you think? Where do you think it's going?
Right. Well, I knew you was going to come in here, T, and I knew you was going to come in here and talk about all this offense and what they doing. But you know what they say, defense wins championships,
Is that
right?
what they say?
That's what a lot of people say. So what I've been seeing this series is Golden State trying to force it on the offensive end and doing all this kind of stuff because KD's been in and out, but the defense is where it's at, man. Or I would say the lack thereof, I guess, from Golden State. And I guess it sounds like that we're pro Golden State right now. Are you going for Golden State?
It's Canada versus U.S., right? You got to have some country pride, right? No, I'm honestly, man, when it comes to stuff like this, I just want to see really good basketball. I want to see, the best win, regardless of, injuries or outside situations, and I want to see Drake sit down.
Right.
I want to see Drake be quiet. So.
That's kind of why I guess I would say that's the only reason I'm kind of pulling for Golden State is, the Drake-ish thing that's been going on. But yeah, but to go back to the game itself, the lack of defense and the lack of team defense and the help defense, I don't think it's an individual thing. You see you're playing against a team like the Raptors. Of course, they got a bunch of great players, so not one guy's going to always be able to stop one guy. But, just the rotations and the help defense and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of been lacking. It's a lot of, swiping at the ball, not really moving your feet, and the rotations really ain't there, and a lot of extra fouls that they shouldn't be getting. So
you sound like a real coach right now.
Hey,
True.
baby, I used to play point guard, man. I was the coach on the floor.
You the floor general?
Yeah, I kind of see that, man. I see it, and I think if they can get that together, I think Golden State can make a run. I think their defense has to start first in order for the offense to follow.
Yeah, the Raptors defense, though, has been playing lights out.
And that's why they up.
Yeah, and I think it is. I think that's the tail of the tape. But also the tail of the tape is a player for the Toronto Raptors. They've had a superstar. I don't even know if you want to say he's emerged, but I think he's really shown himself to be the star in this league that during this series, and it's Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
This dude was out of control in Game 4, man. 36 points, 17 of those points coming in the third quarter, and it just seemed like Golden State didn't have an answer for him. Like I would see Golden State go on a little run, right, where Curry would come down and pop a three, and then they go get our Klay Thompson come down, pop a three, and they come right back, and Kawhi would be like, all right, I'm gonna bust one on you too, and they just really didn't have an answer for him. So it'd be interesting to watch what his effect on this Game 5,
right,
and if it moves forward into Game 6 and 7, the kind of effect he's going to have on the game, especially now that KD's hurt again,
right.
I think that would have been a good matchup to see. Those two. I don't see. I don't know. I don't want to talk trash about my man, but Draymond has not really been stepping up to the plate, in my opinion.
Draymond is
Draymond.
Draymond has stepped it up, I think, in not so much in scoring, but in keeping the tempo of Golden State up. And he's trying to rally the defense. But again, you talk about, okay, Steph comes down and pops a three, and then Klay comes down and pops a three. But you got Kawhi and his team, they come back and they're doing the same thing. You can't win if you don't get no stops. You keep hitting threes over and over, and you just going to match the team back and forth. You really can't be consistent like that. So you got to get stops. It's about the defense, T. Again, defense wins.
Defense.
Ball games.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Hopefully there'll be more games to talk about. We don't know, so we'll find out. Like the rest of y'all, you guys listening to this probably already know. So all the stuff we talked about could be moot, or could be all for naught. But hopefully, we'll see this game go forward. We want to see some more good basketball. We want to see Golden State put up a fight. And 7-game series would be right up my alley, Tru. I'm
Absolutely.
all for it, man.
Hey, man, I'm basketball, but you said I sound like a coach, man. I be watching the game kind of with that coach's eye, man.
I know.
So
I can feel it. I sense that in you, man.
Yeah.
You got me inspired to watch it. A guy that has been boxing that I didn't even know was still boxing, Zab Judah. He had a fight this past weekend, Tru, and it kind of didn't go the way he wanted it to go, and it went way worse than anybody thought it would go. Zab Judah, if you don't remember him, he was really big in the early 2000s and the late 90s. He was a smaller boxer, but he was really flamboyant, flashy. He was kind of like to me he was the New York hip hop boxer. Like he was that guy, right? And I had no idea he was still fighting. Saturday night, he was in the ring with a guy by the name of Cletus Selden, and he took a L, like a serious L, to the point where he had to be hospitalized, and it didn't look good for him. Like, I think they were thinking he might not even make it. He had bleeding on the brain. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about Zab Judah. First of all, why in the hell is Zab Judah still fighting? He's at age 41 at this point.
Yeah, well, I say this about a lot of boxers that fight past their prime. Zab, Ali.
Ali did it.
Talk about guys like Roy Jones, and I think
Lord,
he
yes.
may still be fighting.
Oh, no.
No. Yeah, well,
Hell no.
I know he recently had a couple fights. I don't know if it was overseas or what he was doing, but yeah. Roy was one of my favorites, and once he got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, I don't know what year it was, but yeah,
I remember it like yesterday.
That was second to the Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson
that was a horrible
fight. Yeah,
Mike wasn't beyond his prime at that time. But I know what you mean.
Right,
it was. Dude, that Roy Jones fight with Tarver, man.
Yeah,
it was sad. He was missing. You could see something was definitely missing. He got caught.
Yeah,
slipping, and then it just went down from there. And then he fought him again.
Did he lose again? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
And did he get knocked out again?
I don't remember seeing Roy Jones win a fight since Tarver. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't. I just don't recall seeing him win a fight. Because after that, everything, like the magic was gone. The luster was gone.
He got knocked out a couple more times.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, T.I., it's the people around these guys.
Really?
Yeah, the trainers, and even, I don't know if it's yes men. I assume that the family members can't really say much to these guys that they think in their mind that they're still in their prime, and they may feel good, but it's just different, man. After you played for such a long time, after you've boxed for such a long time, it's only so much tire that's left on the tread. So you keep wearing that thing down over and over and over again, and you're not the same.
Yeah.
I'm living proof of that now.
Come on, what's wrong with you, Tru?
Man,
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or
Well,
what portion?
Spinal.
Man, I'm walking around in a boot right now. I tore my Achilles. I'm feeling good. I've been
Yes.
working out. I've been training. I'm in pretty good shape. But
Yes.
the tread on my tire is damn near to the white meat now. So
it ain't nothing you can do once the tread is gone.
that's what I'm saying.
No
but,
matter how good a shape you're in.
I took myself away from football, and I didn't try to force it and keep going. And I feel like these gentlemen, they should have did the same thing. They, it comes a point in time where the people around you just got to tell you no, because these guys, just like I did, you have a Superman complex.
Yes.
You never think you're done. You always think, okay, if I train hard enough, if I watch enough film, I can still be great. But that's a lie.
That's a lie. You
A
lying
lie.
to yourself
Yeah.
and to everybody else, man. So Zab Judah, he apparently took over 300 shots to the head, man.
I watched a little bit of the fight too, and it didn't look as terrible as I thought it was going to look.
But if I would have just imagined it's just an accumulation
Right,
of things.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You heard the phrase "death by 1,000 cuts." Like if you just get tapped like 1,000 times, eventually it's going to leave a mark on the inside of your head, man. You getting punched by another professional fighter, man. 300 times. That's a lot of times, man. And you got to think, Zab Judah is a small guy. And his claim to fame and his MO back in the day was just being quick, speedy, being able to sock, jab, get out of the way, jab, get out of the way. And at the age of 41, I mean, even just like you said, in your head, you may be able to get out of the way in your head.
Right.
But in real life, you just a punching bag for the dude, that 23-year-old dude
man.
that's over there hungry.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, I know, sometimes there are exceptions to the rule, True. Like you think about George Foreman, man.
Right.
He was 50 years old, man, coming back and fighting and winning. And
Everybody can't do that,
championship.
though, just like you said, T.
That's what I'm saying. He's the champ. There's an exception to the rules. I just, obviously this is going to be a wake-up call for Zab. I don't think he will want to get back in the ring. I don't think anybody will let him get back
How's
in
he
the ring.
doing? I haven't did an update.
Yeah, I heard he's in stable condition at this time.
Good.
Is out of the the red zone where anything could have happened. But if you're bleeding on the brain, man, it's just not good, man.
Not at
it's
all.
Never good. And so I just want to again send our shout out to Zab. Hope he gets well. And man, just sit back and enjoy your life, man. Enjoy your family, enjoy your kids if you have them. Man, enjoy your money. I know you stack. Hopefully you stack some, put it away, man. And man, don't get punched in the face no more, man. It's not worth it, True.
Chill out, man. Yeah, take a seat, man.
Before we get out of here, man, I want to do this thing that we do in the barbershop from time to time, and it's called Winners and Pretenders. It's where we talk about a person, place, thing, a subject, any particular situation, and we decide between myself and True whether that thing is a winner or it's a pretender. And right out the gate, I want to go back to the basketball thing. I'm talking about Kyle Lowry. Not Mike Lowry.
Not Mike.
Not Mike. Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors. Game 3, there was a situation where he was diving for a loose ball, and he dove into the crowd. And he landed on a gentleman and I think his wife or whatever. And the gentleman shoved him, pushed him, I guess, mushed him in the head, man. And I remember seeing Kyle Lowry during the game acting, fanatically, saying that somebody pushed him, and I didn't get a chance to see it until later. But he definitely, the guy that was sitting courtside, shoved the hell out of him, and it was pretty flagrant. We come to find out that the guy that shoved him is a minority team owner and a billionaire by the name of Mark Stevens. So before we even get into talking about what happened to Mark Stevens and that whole situation, I want to talk about Kyle Lowry and how he responded to the situation.
Right.
I mean, this is obviously a young athlete. I want to even, if you make it to the NBA, you have to be some kind of an alpha. You know what I'm saying? You're a dog a little bit, at least. But he took the two-hand shove and didn't retaliate.
Right.
He was calm, cool, collected, tried to state his claim to the referees and the officials, and it just kept it moving. How do you feel about Kyle Lowry's response? Was his response a winner, or was he pretending? Should he have acted a fool?
I am so glad that Mr. Lowry did not act a fool. I'm so glad and happy and excited that all of the negativity and all the blame and all the bad press is on this owner, even though it's kind of blown over already, which I'm disappointed about that. But Kyle Lowry did a great job, was professional, was a grown man, because any guy can lose his cool and could just be ready to retaliate, and then it would have been hell to pay for him, his team, and everybody. It could have just got ugly. So big salute to Kyle Lowry. Big ups to that young man for keeping us cool. So, definitely a winner.
Definitely a winner. Okay. And the reason why I brought it up, because you pay attention to all these guys on Twitter, pay attention to these people on Facebook and the memes and whatnot. And they're like, oh, man, he went out like, he should have did something to him, man. You don't let nobody put your hands on him, blah, 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 like all that crazy stuff, right?
Right.
And, saying like the new NBA is soft. Back in the day, they would have handled business, and, the bad boys from Detroit would have did this, or,
right.
If it was Meta World Peace. What's his real name, by the way? I keep forgetting.
Ron Artest.
Ron Artest. You remember when Ron Artest went in the stands and was throwing.
And you can't call
bombs.
him Ron Artest, though.
I'm sorry, Meta World
Yeah.
Peace. Yeah,
Because he'll walk through this door.
Mr. Peace.
Yeah.
But he was throwing haymakers, man, and so a lot of people wanted him to go out like that. But I gotta say, in today's day and age, where people are so litigious, AKA they like to file lawsuits, and they like to put you on the bench and in your street clothes and not playing for the rest of the finals because you socked the fan. Even though
Artest excuse me, Mr. Peace was gone for a year. I think
was out of there.
Yeah.
He was out of there,
or 2 maybe. I can't remember.
They
but
put them cats out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he took a very mature stance. He tried to make his case with the officials and the referees. Later, they came back and reviewed the film, and they took the appropriate repercussions against Mr. Mark Stevens, and I think he came out on top. And I agree, he was definitely a winner. So, Kyle Lowry, you win.
All I do is win, no matter what.
All right, now this guy we're gonna talk about. We just talked about him a minute ago, and it's just a coincidence that he made the news twice in 1 week. Zab Judah, we just spoke about him and needing to retire from boxing after taking a serious beatdown this past week. But earlier in the week, I actually got somebody forward me a clip that they saw online, and I'll have it posted on our Barbershop page. You guys can go to our Twitter page, Barbershop Show _ and see exactly what I'm talking about with Zab Judah. Apparently there was somebody who had been talking trash about Zab Judah and that he was trash and that he had no hands and he was, just trash, weak. Somebody had Twitter fingers. It's just an average, ordinary citizen out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, I got this video online of Zab walking into this man's place of employment with a couple of guys, and they had cameras, of course. You have to document everything.
Reality TV.
That's right. I didn't know it was a TV show at the time, but they called the dude out. They said, "Hey, I thought you had a lot to say, man, about Zab Judah. Here he is." And then the dude started clamming up. At first, he was like, "Yeah, I said it." Then he saw Zab. Zab came and said, "Hey, man, I need to see you outside. 5 minutes. Let's go." Dude was like, "Hey, man, let's talk about this." He changed his mind. So my thing here is winner or pretender. The idea that, hey, some of these Twitter tough guys, you need to check them. You need to pull up on them. Is that a good idea, pulling up on the Twitter tough guys?
I think so. You seen the Deontay Wilder one that's similar to that. The guy was talking trash. I think he even might have said something about his daughter or family member.
Yes, you know what it was? To get back to Zab in a second, but that dude, I don't know if you've seen the videos of this dude. He's notorious. So what he does is he goes up to random people and puts boxing gloves on them, right? He's like, "Here, try this on, and then starts beating the hell out of them.
Before they
ready, and beating the hell out of them. And then he says, he goes around and tells everybody, he's like, "I'm like 99 and 0. I'm undefeated." So that's how he said, "I'm going to beat Deontay Wilder." Deontay beat the brakes off him.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, yeah. But I say that because, people talk and, for fame or for likes and clicks and et cetera, et cetera. So something like this, I like it.
Yeah.
We live in a day and age where people will say anything, do anything from behind the keyboard or over the phone or whatever. And Zab, I feel like Zab is really with the ish.
With the ish, yeah.
Zab comes from, he kind of got that style. As far as the old school Zab, he's going to fight people in the ring.
He's walking around looking like Onyx.
Sticky fingers. Cannabis.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So Zab is with it. And you remember early Zab fought Floyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And almost put Floyd down if Floyd wouldn't have grabbed and kind of held on. I remember that fight. And then he ended up beating Zab because at that time he called Zab a front runner. Of course, he could only fight for the first couple rounds if you take him in the late rounds, whatever. You see me, I'm still talking like a coach, man. I be watching this. Yeah. But Zab is with it, so I think he's a winner in this.
Yeah, okay. So Tru thinks he's a winner. So
Zab wants to smoke. Hey.
Now here's where I go with it, man. I'm torn a little bit because I'm kind of with it too. I like the idea that if you talk that talk, you need to be able to walk that walk.
Prove it.
You know what I'm saying?
Prove it.
If you're gonna talk tough behind a keyboard, you should be able to talk tough in person. And I still stand by that. I still believe that to this day. I still think so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to go to where I'm having a problem is these people out here, they'll turn around and put you behind bars.
Oh, yeah.
They will turn around and they will tell on you in a heartbeat. If you show up, if somebody right now was on Twitter and talked about my mama and talked about me and my family, and I pulled up on them, they might call the police on me, and I'm going to jail. And then what is my family supposed to do? How they gonna get to school tomorrow morning?
Right.
How they going? Somebody got to buy cornflakes. And I think that when you reach a certain age or a certain level in life, that some of these things aren't worth it. And I'm saying that just because I'm just now learning it, bro.
Right.
I was always the pull-up dude.
Right.
I always would flash and pull up.
Right.
I had a situation a couple of years ago where somebody was talking tough on the Twitter. Or
right.
It wasn't even the Twitter, it was on a text message. And I pulled up and the authorities were there, so I pulled off.
You turned.
Yeah, so I'm
right.
not, so I say all that to say, at this point in life, when there's so much to lose, especially for somebody like Zab Judah, that concept is pretending.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender.
But you can still get these hands though, if you agree to.
That
if
fire.
I show up and you agree to, we're gonna go. We're gonna
all
see
the smoke.
We're gonna see what it's all about. The last one, Tru. I don't know if you've seen this. I just saw this on my way to the studio tonight. Do you know the actor Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Famous from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Matrix, Speed too, right?
Right.
Speed.
But, John Wick too, right?
John
As of
Wick,
late, yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
I ain't seen it
he's
though.
very successful. Yeah, I've seen 2 of them.
I ain't seen none of them, but
you better get on.
know,
it's
yeah.
good. It's good.
My
But
bad.
Keanu Reeves,
right.
So I saw a picture. It was actually a set of pictures of him tonight online, and he was taking pictures with fans. Okay, follow me now. All female fans, because everybody thinks Keanu Reeves is sexy. That's what they say.
All right.
I don't judge.
All right.
But every picture he took, whether it was with a single female or 2 females or a whole entire pack of females. Now, Tru, let me just ask you this, because I do it, since we've been doing this stuff and since, we've been in the spotlight, whether it be through athletic endeavors or through, the stuff we're doing now, we get to take a lot of pictures with a lot of people.
Right.
And a lot of people bring it in. They like to bring it in, right?
Right.
Put Tru in the middle.
Right.
And when you take the picture, you kind of hug them up, right? Everybody
Right.
get in and hug, right? So Keanu Reeves pictures with all these people, he has his arms extended with his fingers out.
Okay.
As in, I'm not touching you.
All right.
We're taking this picture. Everybody's smiling, though, like a regular, normal picture, like you'd be hugged in. But you can see, like, his fingers extended, like, I'm not touching you.
Wow.
I'm not going to get that lawsuit.
Okay.
What do you think about this concept of taking pictures of people with your fingers extended? Winning or pretending?
Actually, I think it's winning, man. I think it's winning. Everybody's different, and he may have had a situation where he felt like he was a target or somebody may have came at him, and he might have had to pay somebody off, et cetera, et cetera. So he learned from his situations. I wouldn't call them mistakes, but you learn from that and you act accordingly. So if he feels like he got to go with the I guess you put the 10 out there and you know what I'm saying? I'm not touching. I'm not fondling or doing nothing like that. Yeah, well, I'm with it if that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm going to go on record and say that 2019 has turned into some of the weirdest stuff you ever seen, man. Like, you can't do anything. The stuff that people used to just think is so benign and so like simple, like we're gonna take a picture. You asked to take a picture with me, and I'm just gonna simply put my arms around you on your shoulders. It can't even be done anymore. Keanu Reeves believes it can't be done anymore, and I can imagine, you get to that level of superstardom, of celebrity, and people will sue you for anything. And I've heard stories about like Eddie Murphy and some of these other super celebrities who will get sued, and rather than spend the time and the expense that it takes to go to court, they just settle. And so I'm paying off people $50,000, $100,000 for nothing, just so that I don't have to pay it to my attorney and spend the time going back and forth to court. It's
ill intentions, and that's what we talked about earlier. Fans, you never really know, and nothing against the great fans, especially out here in this area. It's great, but a lot of people got ill intentions, and it's scary.
It is, and so. Although it looks really funny, and you probably wouldn't, unless somebody pointed it out, you wouldn't notice it at first. But when you look at it, it's really funny to see a dude in the middle of a picture with his arms extended around people and not touching. But I think in today's society, today's age, that it's something that has to be done. And I think Keanu Reeves has set a new trend. Maybe celebrities and people in positions of power need to stop touching people's shoulders. And I think that idea of Keanu's is winning.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Stop touching people. It's not cool.
Fondling. Can't do it.
You can't do it, true. But here's the sad part about it is we do it a lot, man. I mean, there was a time when we were going to the Seahawks games every weekend, and we had a booth set up in the stadium, and we would take
Touchdown
pictures.
City,
Touchdown City, and we would take pictures, and people would come up and hug us. And I know you've had to do it for your entire career with the Seahawks, and you're notorious for taking all the pictures and signing all the autographs. So I don't know how you move forward.
Man, I might have to go to therapy, man. I'm a habitual hugger. So if I got to come off that, if I got to cold turkey that thing, that's going to be tough, man. Tough. So it's something to be said.
I don't think the people who are fans of you will ever, expect it to be any different. So it's all good. We just keep doing what we doing, keep being who we doing. I think we'll be all right, True.
Yeah, I think we good too.
Man, I think we had another great show, man. What do you think?
I agree, my brother.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. So until next week, man, you guys can follow us on social media. Hit us up on Twitter. True, I can't seem to remember.
The Twitter is Barbershop Show _. Go to Instagram. It's just Barbershop Show. Check us out, man.
Yeah. And if you can't wait until then, man, just, reload this show, play it back. You can hear me and True going anytime, any place on the iHeartRadio app, man. Until next week, though, hopefully we find out something new about these Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors. And we'll have more to talk about next week. Until then, it's Marcus Trufant, Terry Holloman, and the Barbershop.
Everybody doubted me, but girl, you stuck around. And you told me